3 rings for the elven kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the dark lord on his dark throne, in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all and in the darkness bind them, in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. Gandalf was shorter in stature than the other 2, but his long white hair, his sweeping beard, and his broad shoulders made him look like some wise king of ancient legend. In his aged face under great snowy brows his eyes were set like coals that could suddenly burst into fire. Indeed, in nothing is the power of the Dark Lord more clearly shown than in the estrangement that divides all those who still oppose him. It is perilous to study too deeply the arts of the enemy, for good or for ill. Where there's life there's hope, and need of victuals. Not this way, master, he pleaded. There is another way. Oh yes, indeed there is. Another way, darker, more difficult to find, more secret. But Smeagol knows it. Let Smeagol show you. Shortcuts make delays, but ends make longer ones. Let him not vow to walk in the dark, who has not seen the night fall. And he that breaks a thing to find out what it is has left the path of wisdom. Elves seldom give unguarded advice, for advice is a dangerous gift, even from the wise to the wise. Do not meddle in the affairs of wizards, for they are subtle and quick to anger. Don't adventures ever have an end? I suppose not. Someone else always has to carry on the story. The prime motive was the desire of a tale-teller to try his hand at a really long story that would hold the attention of readers, amuse them, delight them, and at times maybe excite them or deeply move them. Many of the ants are younger than I am, by many lives of trees. They are all roused now, and their mind is all on one thing, breaking Isengard. But they will start thinking again before long. They will cool down a little. But let them march now and sing. We have a long way to go, and there is time ahead for thought. It is something to have started. Only a small part is played in great deeds by any hero. Home is behind, the world ahead, and there are many paths to tread, through shadows to the edge of night, until the stars are all alight. Do not trouble your hearts overmuch with thought of the road tonight. Maybe the paths that you each shall tread are already laid before your feet, though you do not see them. News from afar is seldom sooth. Yet do not cast all hope away. Tomorrow is unknown. Read oft is found at the rising of the sun. Good and ill have not changed since yesteryear. Yet a treacherous weapon is ever a danger to the hand. Not all those who wander are lost. I wish it need not have happened in my time, said Frodo. So do I, said Gandalf, and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. If more of us valued food and cheer and song above hoarded gold, it would be a merrier world. The world is indeed full of peril, and in it there are many dark places, but still there is much that is fair, and though in all lands love is now mingled with grief, deserves it. I dare say he does. Many that live deserve death, and some that die deserve life. Can you give it to them? Then do not be too eager to deal out death and judgment, for even the very wise cannot see all ends. It's a dangerous business, Frodo, going out your door. You step onto the road, and if you don't keep your feet, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to. I will not say, do not weep, for not all tears are an evil. Do you wish me a good morning, or mean that it is a good morning whether I want it or not, or that you feel good this morning, or that it is a morning to be good on? War must be, while we defend our lives against a destroyer who would devour all. But I do not love the bright sword for its sharpness, nor the arrow for its swiftness, nor the warrior for his glory. I love only that which they defend. Courage is found in unlikely places. It's the job that's never started as takes longest to finish. May it be a light to you in dark places when all other lights go out. There is nothing like looking if you want to find something. You certainly usually find something if you look, but it is not always quite the something you are after. A man that flies from his fear may find that he has only taken a shortcut to meet it. May the wind under your wings bear you where the sun sails and the moon walks. Where there's life, there's hope. I warn you, if you bore me, I shall take my revenge. In this hour, I do not believe that any darkness will endure. In sorrow we must go, but not in despair. Behold, we are not bound forever to the circles of the world, and beyond them is more than memory. Oft hope is born when all is forlorn. And he took her in his arms and kissed her under the sunlit sky, and he cared not that they stood high upon the walls in the sight of many. The road goes ever on and on, down from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road has gone, and I must follow, if I can. Shortcuts make long delays. The wide world is all about you. You can fence yourselves in, but you cannot forever fence it out. Never laugh at live dragons. Even the smallest person can change the course of the future. Deeds will not be less valiant because they are unpraised. Sadi, I don't want any adventures, thank you. Not today. Good morning. But please come to tea any time you like. Why not tomorrow? Goodbye. Bother burgling and everything to do with it. I wish I was at home in my nice hole by the fire, with the kettle just beginning to sing. We are plain quiet folk and have no use for adventures. Nasty, disturbing, uncomfortable things. Make you late for dinner. I can't think what anybody sees in them. Victory after all, I suppose. Well, it seems a very gloomy business. Farewell, King under the mountain. This is a bitter adventure, if it must end so, and not a mountain of gold can amend it. Yet I am glad that I have shared in your perils. That has been more than any Baggins deserves. So comes snow after fire, and even dragons have their ending. Then Bilbo fled, with the cup. But the dragon did not wake, not yet, but shifted into other dreams of greed and violence, lying there in his stolen hall while the little hobbit toiled back up the long tunnel. His heart was beating, and a more fevered shaking was in his legs than when he was going down, but still he clutched the cup, and his chief thought was, I've done it. This will show them. More like a grocer than a burglar, indeed. Well, we'll hear no more of that. All that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost. What have I got in my pocket? He said aloud. He was talking to himself, but Gollum thought it was a riddle, and he was frightfully upset. The eagles, he shouted. The eagles are coming. I came from the end of Bag, but no bag went over me. I am the friend of bears and the guest of eagles. I am ring-winner and luck-wearer, and I am barrel rider. I will give you a name, he said to it, and I shall call you Sting. Very well, said Bilbo, very downcast and also rather annoyed. Come along back to your nice cells, and I will lock you all in again, and you can sit there comfortably and think of a better plan, but I don't suppose I shall ever get hold of the keys again, even if I feel inclined to try. If ever you are passing my way, said Bilbo, don't wait to knock. Tea is at 4, but any of you are welcome at any time. It will not be long now, thought Bilbo, before the goblins win the gate, and we are all slaughtered or driven down and captured. Really, it is enough to make one weep, after all one has gone through. I would rather old Smug had been left with all the wretched treasure, than that these vile creatures should get it, and poor old Bomber, and Balin, and Filly, and Keely, and all the rest come to a bad end, and Bard too, and the Lakemen, and the merry elves. Misery me! I have heard songs of many battles, and I have always understood that defeat may be glorious. It seems very uncomfortable, not to say distressing. I wish I was one out of it. I beg of you, said Bilbo, stammering and standing on one foot, to accept this gift. And he brought out a necklace of silver and pearls that Dane had given him at their parting. In what way have I earned such a gift, O Hobbit? Said the king. Well, I thought, don't you know, said Bilbo, rather confused, that, some little return should be made for your, hospitality. I mean, even a burglar has his feelings. I have drunk much of your wine and eaten much of your bread. I will take your gift, O Bilbo the Magnificent, said the king gravely.